Raw Cannon. My co-host Rue, he running a little late, it's a little crazy out there, but he'll be here in a little bit. Of course, we got special guests on the show, and we always let our special guests introduce themselves. But before I get to our special guests, I just wanted to say Philly service announcement. Tune in every Tuesday, 5 to 6, Glockaware Radio. And today is election day, everybody. Y'all got to get out there and do your civil duty, vote, get your votes in. I took my little baby to vote with me earlier, and I said, "Thank you, baby. You helped me vote." And she said, "What I do?" But she took the little paper. It's crazy because they made it. I really didn't like it. It was like a long drawing. You got to color in the boxes, and then you got to put the paper in the scanner. And, it ain't like going to the election and, pressing a button when you go to vote for the president and stuff like that. But I just feel like it just, make things a little bit more complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a process for them. It's like, since you said civil duty, it's simply saying the people around you, you got to watch them every time. So when they go to vote, or when you go to vote, the people you voting for, you got to make sure when they in office, they take care of you and your people around
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
So it's difficult for you when you go there. That's how they make it when they get in there.
Exactly.
You see?
Exactly.
So,
and
either way.
it shouldn't be complicated. It shouldn't be a difficult, complicated process. But in any event, whatever it takes, get out there and go use your voice, y'all, and vote today, today, today. Let's vote.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let our special guest introduce himself. Of course, he's been here before, and we always have special guests come back again, especially when they talking about things that we need to hear about as a community and things we need to do for ourselves as a community and for ourselves individually to take care of us. So without further ado, I'm gonna let our special guest introduce himself.
Yes, hi. I'm Wise King, holistic mind, body, spirit. We usually we're going to be talking about electric food today or whatever it is you get to ask as far as the well being for the people in the community and how it helps us in terms of how we help each other. Because we part of the human family, so we have to look after each other when it comes to food, food, clothing, shelter, and all that.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, Wise King, where can they find you at? Are you on any social media platforms? You got any websites or anything like that?
Yeah, we cultivate in there right now, but it just more things like we part of the human family, so more time is word of mouth. So right now we on Instagram, and we also have another website coming up soon. So with the time frame, it's gonna happen. So, uh, yeah, with the time frame, it's gonna happen. So we just giving out the information. Each one teach one. Not we not we all for ourselves.
Right.
But it's each one teach one, because
Absolutely.
when I talk to you, I'm talking to a million black people just now.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if you talk to me, you're talking to a million black people. So when I see people, I have to teach them about what they have to understand in order to cope with what's going on as far as the food and what they eat.
Right, right.
Because a lot of our women, they getting sick, because they, it's basically come from your environment 1st. Whenever you're with a person, you're a co-pilot. So that means you're responsible for the person's health, like they're responsible for your health. So all that plays a role in, how you're gonna your physiology, because if you're talking about a person's body, it's a living tissues.
Right.
It's not just saying, you just dead. It's not
Right.
about anatomy. It's a living tissue that moves the anatomy. So if you're eating food you don't have control about, then your body gonna suffer it.
So help everybody that's watching understand what it is, and first of all, why did you start to get into the holistic and analyzing the foods that we eat in and stuff like that? Like, what, have you always been this way, or did
Yes.
something happen? Because a lot of times things happen in our lives that cause us to kind of like wake up and say, all right, I need to start doing something differently. Is
Yes.
it anything that drove that in
Yes,
you?
it's just experience. Experience is the best teacher. But I came from a background where we use herb to heal the body. The human body, if you look at the human body, is similar to plant. This is why when you go to the hospital, the doctor give you pills, but he's charging you every time. It's cost less than 20 cents to heal your body. If you get lemon and other stuff to heal your body, it's just like saying you have to pay for pills. Money can't buy life.
Right.
So like a guy like Michael Jackson, he go to Conrad Murray and say, "Hey, I can't sleep. Let me get some Propofol." You get that? That's an herb. The guy's from Grenada. He's from the Caribbean. He should know that's an herb called chamomile that makes you sleep. That's less than 20 cents. Our people don't know about it. They keep taking things that don't sit right with their body, and it's showing their skin, their body, the air they breathe, and everything around them. Because we're in a developed society. Developed society simply means we breathing in toxic air every time. We in these buildings. These buildings are decrypted.
Right.
And we in there. We breathing it in. A lot of dilapidated buildings. When it rains, you see the films. They go in there, and you are breathing that in constantly. And you go home. You sit in the house. You get from in the house. You get in the car. The car is moving your body. You just driving, but the car is moving your body. So you lock off the oxygen to your body. Now most people that don't bike, you're not moving the body. Like I said, culture means tissues. So like a woman's body is like tissues.
Right.
So if you don't eat right, whatever you eat, you are bringing culture into your body.
Right. And now I'm not, I know from personal experience that I put bad things into my, we all do something that's hurting our bodies, right? So
Yes.
you're into the herbs and stuff like that. Do you sell it? Like, can
Yes.
people come to you?
Yes,
Can they
people
reach
can
out
come
to
to
you?
me.
With
Yes.
do you have like on hand?
I have it on hand. People can come to me, but it's more about the educational purpose of the herb. It's not just taking the herb, and because every herb has its own energy.
Right.
You have is work with your circadian rhythm on how your body moves. You have light herbs. You have herb with more energy. It's like just how you see, the environment.
Right.
You got forests, and with herb, like I tell most people that take herb, they still take pills here and there, but love and fear can exist in the same body.
Right.
So if you're taking herbs, that backs to your nature. So that means you're understanding how your physiology work in terms of how your willpower moves your body. It's just when you listen to a music, it's like less sound, but it's energy that's traveling. That's why you listen to jazz and other music where it's like no voice. That's the same way your energy is in your body.
Right.
So the way you think, it moves your body. The thing you eat, a lot of women, they use a lot of chemicals.
Yeah.
And that is killing them too, but they don't know it because they think you could buy longevity. You can't.
Right. So one of the issues that I know a lot of women have are like gut issues, right?
Yeah, that's liver
So
problem.
it's like the foods that we're eating, the meat, especially the red meat, and I am so guilty of it. Like I love me some beef short ribs. I love a piece of steak.
That's solid food.
Right.
You see, you have food that feeds your spirit, and you have solid food. So if you have food that feeds your spirit, if you buy the apple, you come back, it changes the color. If it's organic, even though if it's not organic, it still changes the color because it's living food.
Right.
That's food that feeds your spirit because you see something moving. So a steak, that's flesh. That's why a lot of people get kidney stones because they eat a lot of flesh. And once you eat that flesh, your bowel movement, that's your problem right there. A lot of our men, they poop banana. Once you start to do that, the body starts to age. Then you get the gray hair. You forcing yourself every time. You hurting yourself. Then they get hemorrhoid problem, the soul.
Yeah, I've seen something on the internet that shows like different stools. I don't really want to, like
it's
how
just
they
simply
look
saying,
and
yours got to be fresh. It
Yeah,
has to come
but-
out fresh. It simply means you have living food in your body that moves out. You're moving your bowel, but when you go to a white man, he give you Metamucil.
yeah,
So when you take the Metamucil, you still have problems. You ever heard the word we full of shit?
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
where that come from. We full of shit because the food we eat is not living food. It feeds dead stuff in our body, and it just becomes shit. That's living
Right.
organism.
So what is it that we can take? Like what herbs, things that you use or you share or you sell that can help somebody like me with
Okay.
gut issues?
Well-
and I'm gonna be honest, I have a relationship with this man. Like we cool, I know him, and he always got some good stuff for my husband, and he able to just take stuff like it can be dry. Like it doesn't have to be appealing to me in order for me to take it, but I have to be able to swallow it. And
Yeah.
sometimes it just don't. Some of the
But
herbs
it's not
just,
for your taste. It's for your wellness.
I know, but
This
I
is
said
why.
swallow. I didn't
This is
say
why.
taste.
This is why most women don't drink water.
No,
the first
but I
thing
said
to healing your
swallow.
body is water first,
Right.
because your body is 85. Most of your body and your internal organs are water. So if you drink soda, Coca-Cola,
I'm not a big
fruit
soda girl. I'm
punch,
not a big soda.
well, whatever you drink moves your physicality every time.
Right.
So if you don't drink a lot of water, then it shows in your piss and all that.
Right.
Then whatever you drink, that is what's in your body.
Right. So what are the herbs? So if I'm having gut issues,
If you have gut
what
issues,
are the herbs that you can provide, and what are the benefits? What are the herbs, and what are the benefits of the herbs?
well, gut issues, you have herbs like dandelion. That's to clean your liver first. That's your filtration system. Then you have an herb like sennet or a sacred bark. That will start to move the waste out of your body. Then when you move the waste out of your body, you don't put the same food. That's what a holistic means. It means going back to your nature to find out what's the cause of the issue. When you
Right.
find the cause, you get rid of the cause. It's just like in a relationship, everything is communication. That's the power to everything.
Right.
So if you don't understand what you're doing, then you have to run to someone else to give you a pill that don't have no idea about your wellness. You know more about your wellness than the next person. You know what you eat more.
Right.
So if you don't have an idea about it, then you go to a person that help you with it. But our people don't need help. You can't even speak to them on the street. You know, they turn their back on you every time. You know, they're like, oh, let me see what he got on. Oh, he can't talk to me. He look rough. You know? I'm like, hey, you know, like the last time the lady broke down, she said, oh my God. I said, I'm here. She said, why you always playing? I said, I'm not playing. You said, oh my God, I am God. I'm here for you now.
Oh,
You
good.
know?
Okay.
But you get it? Our people don't
Yes.
need help.
Yes.
They're always in their feelings, you know? So
Yeah.
holistic means going back to your nature first and understanding what's your problem. A herb like senna leaf, that's
Right.
good. It brings waste out the body. When you get the waste out, just eat nutritional food for your well-being. It's for your wellness, not for your taste. Once you're over 35, you don't eat for taste.
Yeah.
You know, and women body is like culture. They eat ice cream. You know, whenever they in love or not in love, they eat food. You know, I don't know why.
It's
You
like
know,
some
know?
people. I mean, I guess. You can be an emotional eater.
Yeah, but it's
You
just,
can eat when you upset, or you cannot
True.
eat when you upset.
True, but that's what two people are for.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, so we take care of each other and make sure, we co-pilot as we move forward.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so we taking care of each other, making sure. So a herb like senna leaf, that's good for a woman. But a woman more, they need pineapple. Pineapple every week is good. Pineapple have bromelain in there. That's good for your digestion system. If you see the people in Hawaii, they eat a lot of that. Their skin look good, and we living in gas. Everywhere we go is gas. Even when we turn the stove on,
Yeah.
it's gas. You can't leave your stove on for like more than 10, 15 minutes in the house. You breathing in
Well,
that
I'm cooking
film,
all
so
the
there's no
time, and
filtration.
I'm always not
It
all the
shows in
time,
the
but
skin. It shows in the skin.
yeah.
It shows in our skin, and the liver, it causes a lot of problem with women. They got a lot of gray hair from liver problem, and they ignore it because, it have to get critical before they see it, before they see it, because that nature is all about love, so it has to get critical before you, like, oh, I have a problem now. Then it's too late. By the time you're in the hospital, they're there for the money. They're not there for you. They don't know where you're
And the
from.
pharmaceuticals and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like
in
that.
it for the business. These are family that own business, and they said you have too many useless eaters. We're not dying fast enough as people. We're not dying fast enough. So you have a lot of useless eaters, people that eat and don't know what they put into their body. When you eat, it's called opening the ceremony of the mouth. That means you eat with family. You save most of your appetite for family, so you eat 2 or 3 times a day with your family.
And how
because
many
there's
families
culture
are-
and tissues.
Yeah, and how many
So y'all have
families
to
are
sing-
actually sitting down at the table having breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
You gotta have a dietary law. So I'm having a dietary law in my house. If I'm looking at my body, my son body, my wife body, or my sister body, or my uncle body, if we not the same in terms of physiology, I have to do something in order to enhance that physicality, for myself and my well
Right.
being. So that's why we have eyes to see people
Right.
and tell them, look, you're not doing well. I can help you. No, you can't help me because you've been educated to some system that tells you nobody can help you unless they have a document or whatever, you know.
Degrees and
Yeah, like
doctors and
degree,
stuff like that.
But most people are study people. It simply means the word science means to know. So you study people to
Yeah.
understand what things are, then you can help. That's what a vision is.
But what about these, like, a lot of the things that as black people we suffer from, like diabetes, high blood pressure,
That
heart disease.
if you look at dietary law, like I said, dietary law, most culture eat food that move their race. So if you look at dietary law, we have a bad diet. We have a prehistoric caveman diet. When it comes to food, we eat the worst thing. We have grills. We have aluminum foil on there. We scrape, put it right into the food, swallow it, then go to sleep on it every night. You eat 4 or 5 times a week. You eat steak, and you go to sleep on it. How you think that's solid food? Like you put a food in the microwave, you eat that, it's gonna get rock hard solid. So that solid food is nothing to feed your spirit. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nothing to feed your spirit. So you eating food to feed your physical side. So you're gonna keep getting blow up. You're gonna keep getting the
Bloated.
weight. It's not gonna go nowhere because every time you try to take it out, you get a product where you're not educated about it. So you take that thing is gonna help you. It's not helping you because you haven't got the cause, the roots. You haven't went to the roots of the problem. So when you get rid of that bacteria, you still putting in the same bacteria every day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to lose weight and you like a lot of us, we eat greasy food.
Yeah.
Water and oil don't mix. So if you eat a lot of grease, that's your liver. That's why a lot of us have liver problem because the filtration there is no, and then when we get in the house there is no proper air. You can't breathe. You suffocate it. Then you turn the gas on. By the time you cook, you swallowing that. So you got the films up here now. It's like you just dizzy. You sitting there. You can't even tell you dizzy. You talking and you falling asleep.
Yeah.
Gas
They
was
call
used.
it the itis.
You know what gas is for?
They call it the itis.
You know what gas was used for in the Holocaust?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we taking in gas to our system every day. When we start the car, it's all gas going into the system. You breathing that in. You breathing that freon gas every time when you turn the car on, and you sitting there. When you sit, your body is locked.
Mm-hmm.
You age quicker, and we always rush into our death every time. So we always in the car rushing, going somewhere. And all we have to do is just go back to the cause, and living tissue is moving as time moves. That's all it is. It's not about, so you have to be aware of your surrounding when it comes to food. We have corner store all around here.
Yeah, that don't sell nothing
that don't
but
sell nothing nutritional for ourselves.
food that sit on the shelf for years, got
Yeah,
shelf
they're
life.
preservative.
Yeah,
They're preserving
yeah.
your body as well. Whatever you eat that has a preservative in there, that preservative is a living tissues. Like I said, a person is a living tissues. It's not, is you could see a person, that's what they are made of, that's the physical side of them, but it's a living tissue that moves everything. In your body, you have trillions of cells. So if
Right.
you get in here and, you coughing and you sneezing, that cell's already dead. Your body builds you a new set of cells to eat in proper nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
This is why when you get old, you go to the doctor, he tells you, you have to eat right.
Right. But
You could
okay,
have knew that since you was 2 years old. But
Right.
your parents never teach you how to chew your food properly and eat proper food because we never been taught about dietary law to family. Family
Right.
means I'm going to save my appetite so we eat and we all look good to benefit each other for years to come.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, we have years and years of eating and improperly eating. Eating things that are not good for us. Putting things in our body that is solid food and, food that's not good for you physically, spiritually. So, how can somebody who says, okay, I need to make a change. I need to do something different, right?
Uh-huh.
So, say for example, somebody who suffers from high blood pressure,
Uh-huh.
right? And they want to turn their life around. They want to start doing things different, and they want to live longer. They had an awakening. What herbs, natural remedies, can they take to help aid them on that path? Let's say they're changing their diet, you
Uh-huh.
know, and we got to put in there some exercise. You
Yeah,
can't, no
yeah,
matter
yeah, yeah.
what you eat, you
You have
can't
to
just sit
sweat.
around.
When,
Yeah,
when you sweat, that's defecation of the skin.
Yeah.
So your body get rid of infection certain ways. So if a person want to change their lifestyle into being more, more enhance their vitality,
right,
that's good. But they have to eliminate the things that cause it. A lot of stuff we use are chemical.
right,
Like dishwashing liquid.
yeah,
A lot of us, we spend money on things that kill us easy. So we don't have a problem with spending. Most of the things you buy have chemicals in it. Even the fibers of your clothes that you wear,
right.
they have chemicals in there all the time. So
Laundry detergent.
when you one with nature, it makes you have more idea about what you rub onto your skin in terms of, because when you rub it on, where's it going? It's going into your skin.
Into your skin, right.
And most of the deodorants said call poison control. Now, most people in America don't know that it said call poison control. When you put that on, what is it going to? Your glands. And most people don't sweat. They go right to sleep. They eat the worst of food. So if a person want to change their diet, they have to go back to what caused the problem. Oily food, eating late. People say, oh, I don't care, because, they train you to rush every time, so you don't have time to do for self. Doing for self is just natural. It just means it's romantic for yourself, because you're doing things for yourself that you're not having being run by seclusion, where when you get to a job, they tell you, oh, you're 1 minute late. You can't come back here no more. So you rushing for that, and you're not taking care of your health. By the time you get to a doctor, he tells you, oh, take this pill, take this pill. If you take that pill for 5 months, if it's not doing any better, stop. And then go into natural food.
Exactly. Well, we can't ignore the obvious things that keep people running on this backwards clock, right? The oppression, the access to food insecurities. You know what I mean? And like, we can't ignore the fact that we're coming up in a way where we're wired to get up, go to work. We got to take care of the kids. We got to get the kids to school. You got to go to work. You got to come home. You got to get the kids ready for bed. Like, it's like we're trained to work.
Yeah, but because we train to work, but we have to reverse that now with training our children, because we teaching them, we raising our children on Dr. Seuss, Batman, Donald Duck, Goofy. If you raise a child on that, if he's around you, he's not gonna think he's an adult. He's gonna think he's a child every time, because you like, get your black ass over here, get your ass over here, do this. You're not talking to him like a man. You're talking to him like an idiot. So he think you are raising an idiot. So if you teach a child to act like a man at that age, then he will help you do things so you don't have to rush every time. Make things easier. That's what two people are for.
Right.
But we train our children to be idiots. We tell them, oh, sit there and watch TV all day and then come back. You can't even spell a word.
Well, I mean,
So all
I
that
do.
plays a major role in what's around us, even though we're being run by, some energy, we're being run by it, but that's what it is. It all takes energy. So if it takes you energy to gain that much weight or get to that part of your body, it takes you that much energy to try to help yourself to get back. Then let a doctor tell you, someone you don't know from anywhere, tells you how to live your life to, and you get old, they're going to put that gas thing right in your mouth. It's free to breathe right now. Why would you put an oxygen thing in my mouth? And it said, do not smoke around it. If I'm not smoking around it, it's gas.
Right. So another thing that I want to bring up when it comes to, the way we're living and the way we're eating and how we're fueling our bodies, stress, right? Yeah. So despite what we eat, how much activity we have, when the mind
fear it's
stress.
It's fear. We live in so much fear. Like we've been we've been victimized so much that being a victim is okay now, because we live on a stress where we can't control it, but it's happening because the people around us is afraid and they cause the stress.
So
Because
you
stress is
saying that?
caused by not being able to communicate properly,
So
or
you're
not being able to
saying
make things done right with things being run by somebody else.
right? So stress can also be worrying about where you're going to get your next meal from, worrying about how you're going to get money to pay your electric bill, worrying about how you're going to get money to pay your rent. So I mean, that to me, like that can, you can incorporate communication in there, but the worrying part,
Yeah, but your life is based on your survival. So you measure things. You don't go above your means. Stress comes from, like for me, I'm a simple guy. So if I having a stress, that means it's money issue. Money is not part of nature. Just like to have a baby, it's free to have a baby. But when you go to the hospital, they charge you money. So stress for me would be like, okay, I'm not doing the right thing as a person, but I'm not going above my means. So I'm not gonna buy a car that costs more than a house and don't own a house yet. You get what I'm saying? That's stress for me. That's like that being a merchant's dream. Like someone who just want to sell stuff, and I'm a person's dream.
right?
So I have to cut the right things in order to move forward. So I limit my stress like that, and then I communicate easy. When you communicate, things get easy, so it reduce the stress. That's why we part of the human family. We around each other constantly to make things easier. But most
Right.
people you interact with, they're always running, they're always in a rush, they don't have time. So
Well, yeah, and I mean, aside from all of that, it's a not, I'm living out of my means. I'm buying things here, and I'm spending money that I don't have. Aside from that, like it's people out here that the basic minimum wage is working basic minimum wage and making money, and it's still not enough to feed their family. They ain't purchasing no cars. They getting on public
that
transportation. Some
because
people walking to work.
I mean we more time we are satisfied with what we are getting. So in terms of like when you watch the news, you don't see anything positive to telling black man, hey, you could get a job from here. Go get a job. All you see is citizen journalists broadcasting, oh, there's a woman get raped. If a woman get raped on the train and there is people watching, that shows you no one have courage. If you
Yeah,
don't
it
have
definitely
courage,
was
that means
some.
that person is not your family. So they're not part of your family. In order to have courage, they have to be part of your family before you interact. That shows who you're around. It shows who you're around. Tell me where I can get a job from. If you watch Asian news, they're telling you all the time, hey, there's a building, infrastructure. That's black men, responsible for infrastructure, community, and children and all that. So you telling me where I can get the next job, not telling me what the next person is raped, what the next person is shot. We know that crime always been a part of our life.
That's and
You get
this
what
the
I'm
media,
saying?
and
So
we
we
talked
know
about
that.
that.
So now they drive you out of your neighborhood. The next thing you know, developer come in and purchase it because
Gentrification and
we whatever we have, if it's not good, we was taught to leave it alone. And most people, other races like pack rats, they keep everything. We the only people that taught like, oh yeah, stay in the house. Once it's broken, get out. So we renting. We just renting to rent. In a developed society, you renting to rent. You don't own nothing. So we teaching people ownership as well. That's being holistic. That means you own your own body first.
right.
So you have to understand that what you eat cause you problem. What you breathe cause you problem. What's around you that feeds the spirit as well. Just like
Right.
music, art, and other stuff feeds your spirit. And
Right. So we of course we come up in an oppressed society. It's a lot of these things around us. The air quality is horrible. The neighborhoods aren't all that great. The trash, it's a lot of societal things that are going on around us that are also putting our health at jeopardy, despite what we doing to ourselves, right?
yeah,
So my question is, how can somebody that's living in poverty, having food insecurities, don't have access to good healthy foods? They got the corner stores everywhere with shelf like food, processed food, right? how can somebody like that become holistic? So if I have this female, she trying to raise her kids and children, she got high blood pressure, she don't have
Yeah,
access to the good
that
food.
come from genetics. That come from food, like food. I mean, being holistic first, it just means that you are one first. What you see is what you learn from to eat to shapes your body.
Right.
So you don't have to have money to start to being holistic. It's just simply saying if you buy food, if you buy a corner store food that has preservative, read the back of it. It has over 100 ingredients.
Yeah.
If you pay $1 for that, an apple is worth $1. Now the apple have an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So apple have pectin, and pectin is good for digestion as well. But they sell that to you as a pill. That's regular. You can just eat natural food and avoid all the models, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could buy an apple, then buy a chip.
But if you don't have access to fresh apples, the
I
corner
mean,
stores don't have fresh apples.
you got to understand. You have a city where they say, okay, get the black man out of the family first.
Well,
Right? We'll get you
I
food stamp.
preach
Hold
that.
on, hold on. Get the
Listen.
black man out of the family. We'll get you food stamp. Now, when you get the food stamp, what do you buy? You have all that, so you can't. You're a single mother, but you're still getting food stamp because you got the man out of the family. Because the first thing is to destroy the family first. Because
Absolutely,
the man is
and
not in the
I'm
family,
with you on that
the
one.
family is done. Right?
I'm with you on that one.
So get the man out of the house. We would feed you, but if some
But that's
once
it.
you have children, you don't depend on anybody to feed your family anyway. So if they're feeding your family, what are they doing to your family? Take that and buy something nutritional for you and your family. Don't say you have high blood pressure because the food you eating, your children gonna eat the same food.
Right.
That's what the problem developed from. It don't come from.
So it
That's all
developed there.
genetics.
So how do you
No,
change
I
it?
mean, from the children.
Yeah.
That's all blood work. Because
Yeah.
when a woman pregnant, her blood stops. So, her blood could shape the baby. So
Right. Exactly.
they're all genetic. Living tissues, culture,
Right.
body.
Right.
So,
So in that situation, okay, and I'm this female and I have, high blood pressure and I'm, don't have access. What are some herbs? First of all, where can we get the herbs? Because
you
the
can
corner
get the
store
herb
don't have the herbs.
on my Instagram page, White Skin Holistic.
Say it again. Where can we get the
White
herbs?
Skin Holistic. And, there's my number is on there as well. So you can reach me directly. I'm also on Google White Skin Holistic as well. So, you could check that out and message me there. It has an email, so you can send me stuff on the email as well. So
I was
there is
thinking,
light herbs. High blood pressure means an imbalance of something in the body.
right?
So you could
Toxins.
take an herb like, there you go, a lot of toxin. And toxin simply means whatever you sit down, there's things that evade the body you can't see. So there's toxin. We always in toxin. The body is
Yeah.
constantly fighting off infection.
Right.
So you got herb like yellow dog root. That's good for infection. It also helps cleanse the body. Golden seal and echinacea is good for blood. That's like people that drive all the time, people that stays in the building with all the not fresh air going into the body. Looking at walls every day.
It helps clean, clean
Yes,
your blood.
golden seal and echinacea. And you have Priscilla Hugs. That's another herb. It's good for digestion for them. Once you get rid of the bacteria in the body, all your lungs, all your stuff starts to revitalize. That's what you call the immune system. It's just all your organs working together as immunize your body. That's all
Right.
it is. So every organ in your body is an immune system by itself. So all you're doing is just knowing what herb work with your circadian rhythm, like the time frame in the night. There's certain time you use the bathroom. Like in the morning, you got intake. So you got to eat. That's breakfast. That's when you break your fast.
Right.
So the first thing into your body is something nutritional. So if you put junk into your body, that's what moving your body. So you fooling your body. Now your body telling you, oh, you fooled me all this time. Wait, I'm gonna fool you later. So definitely, hey, fool's on you. It's not on me. I've been trying to help you all the time by teaching you about the food you eat every day. If you eat food that don't shape your body right, then just stop it. That's all it is. And go into something different, more nutritional for your well-being.
But you can't deny that eating foods a certain kind of way, your body is going to crave that.
Food is an aphrodisiac. So
Yeah,
of
your
course,
body's gonna crave it.
and that means everything in your body, your tissue is associated with that bite, that taste, that smell, spices. And so all that is good, but spices is good too because it helps you digest your food. You know, so you're always good to eat spices because when you smell it, it's also good.
Yeah.
Nutmeg is a good spice for a lot of African people. They don't understand
Cinnamon.
it. Cinnamon is good. It's antifungal, so that helps with filtration in the body too. It's just light herbs. Like most women use turmeric, cinnamon. These are light herbs. You know, they have their own energy, but you have yin and the yang. So everything have its own driving force, especially when it goes into your body.
Right.
Just like music, you know, when music influences your mind and educates you, a lot of things do that as well. So
What about cayenne pepper?
cayenne pepper is good. First thing in the morning, I recommend for a woman. That stimulates
What?
cells. movement.
Wait, so first thing in the morning, I should be
what
having some cayenne pepper?
That's what I would recommend for a woman.
Like what? In some water?
No, you could just put it right on your mouth too. That helps
Just-
you. Yeah, or you could take, a ginger shot. Anything that helps move your blood during the morning
So-
time is also good because when you're moving around, your blood is moving. So a lot of people that have desk job, they're not doing nothing good for their body. So a person like that, when they get home, they're stressed. All the knots are here in their body and they can't get rid of it. And that comes from the environment as well and the food they eat and the people around them.
So what are some of the health benefits of cayenne pepper?
Cayenne pepper stimulates circulation in the body, and it's also good for heat. See, pepper is a medicine by itself. You know, when you cultivate pepper, you know it's a medicine by itself because the process it takes to grow. So anything hot for the body to stimulate heat is good. It makes you sweat. Then you get rid of,
He getting up for my brother here. He showed the back. Let's see the back. Let's see the back. Hey,
He showing the back.
Hey.
What's up with you, brother?
Brother Ruth, thank you, Brother Ruth. Brother, we got the Wise King just giving us some jewels on herbs and, the benefits of, the healthful benefits of how they affect the body and how we need to stop eating food. We need to stop
Once upon a
eating.
time in America, everything he said that we not supposed to eat, I didn't eat.
Well,
And then-
I eat everything he said we shouldn't eat.
that's according to dietary
Solid
law,
foods and
that's don't feed your spirit. Your spirit
I
is
got some
creativity.
things, some food that feed my spirit.
Your spirit is your creativity. That's what makes you creative. If you don't live in fear. Because fear is a curse. That means if you're full of shit, you walk around people, you won't speak. Right? That's why most people don't speak to you when they walk around because they're full of shit. They're always drugging. Coming from the hospital every day, you killing our people. You're not giving them anything beneficial for their body. So they're walking around like zombies. That's why you have to watch a zombie movie every week. I'm telling you. And then you can see what's around you because
I got a whole thing with the zombie thing. You know what I'm saying? And tell me if I'm just tripping or not. Like, so you know how Hollywood tries to they promote certain culture shifts or they trying to put you on something, but make you miss something at the same time. So it was a period when a whole bunch of zombie movies is coming out, and then people like, is this some survivalist stuff? Is America falling? Which it is. And y'all don't. It's probably gonna be a soft fall. It's not gonna be a whole fall where it's gonna implode with war, but it can. But my theory about the zombie movies is mental health issues.
Yeah.
Where you got it's like America really trying to drive people insane to the point. And then the reason why I really started like zoning in on it myself is it was a time when I was catching the bus. And I probably talked about this on here before, but I was catching the bus from West Oak Lane all the way out to Chester. And at night, the homeless issue is crazy.
Yeah.
The drug issue is crazy. But a lot of the people that I was seeing out there weren't on drugs. They were dealing with different levels of mental distress. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of things, like when we talk about stress and everything, like I feel like they're literally trying to drive, like how we was in prison. They were trying to drive us insane. Low intensity warfare. The physical part went away because it's kind of like slavery, where when it was chattel slavery, it was clear and present what you had to fight against.
Sure.
So then they tried to get you to believe in your oppression. Like, we can find a way to live amongst our oppressors when they know that's not true.
Yeah, that's keeping you in a fantasy world where you think, we making zombies out of our people ourselves. because there's no leaders amongst ourselves but ourselves. So when you put courage in people by speaking to them every time. How you doing? Have a nice day. Are you okay? That's how you put courage in people. So we we might film a person acting like a zombie, but that's real life because it's the same thing you see in the movie. So our people around us, they acting like zombies. We have a communal consciousness. That's how Hollywood is. So they want us to think that we alienated from everybody.
Right.
You know, we around our people every day dying. You talk about income or housing for our people. You have people that have money, celebrities. They like us, but they paid by white people, so you can't send that money back to your people to put housing for women. You got women out in Philadelphia here. You can put housing for them, $150 a month. They be okay. They don't have to depend on the system. That you can earn that by living and moving, so you don't be under a lot of pressure because you always paying rent. Every time you paying rent, no ownership. You know.
No, that's crazy. I understand what you're saying about. I was on a Black Solidarity. It was like a Zoom meeting. It was probably about 53 people on there, and one of the main things that they kept talking about was how like we battling for the mind. Rather the information part of it, like people actually knowing like the stuff that you talking about. It's been around forever, but that type of information, what they would call alternative medicine, which I don't know why we still calling it that because it's not alternative, it's just medicine. But they would have people, they would keep that information from people. You know what I'm saying? Knowing who you are as an African, they would keep that information from you. The attack on the black family where we don't know how to have relationships. A black man doesn't know how to have a relationship with a black woman and vice versa.
That's the biggest lie ever told.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the biggest lie ever told that a black man can't have a relationship with a woman.
Right.
I mean, because like I said, they training men to be sexual predator. Once you train a man to be a sexual predator, you have no family. A sexual predator cannot have a family.
Right. Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, no.
And that's manhood. A
Right.
sexual predator can never have a family. It's hard because how can you be around the people you love every day?
Right.
It hurts,
No,
You
that's
can't be
a
around the people you love.
that's a crazy
difficult.
thing. That's a crazy thing too because that's like the rites of. That's one of the things that goes with the rites of passage. Like allowing you to know when you go through puberty, like these are some of your roles. This is how you're supposed to conduct yourself with a woman and vice versa. You know what I mean? So if we're not teaching that, it's like you just finding out about sex, relationships, being an important part of your family, not the head of the household, you know what I'm saying, but being the important part of your family as a man that you're supposed to be. We don't learn that. So we start taking women as it come with the money. You hear that a lot. Like a woman is something that comes with money. It's like money, cars, jewelry, and a woman.
That's the idea of having a woman as a property.
Exactly.
That's all
The possession thing. Right. So
that's not your property because everybody deserves the pursuit of happiness. So that's not your property. That's your co-pilot.
right.
Say it again.
That's your co-pilot. That's not. Most people carry a lot of weight when they meet people in a relationship. So you have a whole bunch of weight. Now you're gonna just suffocate the next person.
Right.
So you're not gonna create families like that. You can't create families like that. We call it baggage, but that's something. There's a psychological thing that runs from years. It has nothing to do with what's going on now.
I agree.
We've been trained to self-destruct every day, so we just in that rhythm.
Yeah.
And that's how they keep us. Don't own nothing. Just keep, buying until you're gone. Then you go to the white man. He give you, take this pill. How you doing today? I mean, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against white people. White means purity, and most people ain't pure. So, so I have nothing against them. You get what I'm saying? But it's most of our people that works in the hospital. They're conscious about killing our people as well.
Right.
You're conscious about killing them, but what are you doing it for? The money. That's a fast way for any woman to get into nursing anyway. When they do nursing, because we take care of people more than anybody else.
Well,
but they're not taking care of us when we take care of them. So most of the nurses in there, they can't take care of themselves because nobody is there to take care of them. Our men are being trained that, you can't cultivate a relationship with a woman because why? There's a lot of headache. She's going to run you down the drain and this is going to happen down the line. And
You're gonna nag.
I mean, if you were two people, you're not less than you are, so you're moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that means equally, 50-50, building each other up.
Right.
So in case anything happen, that person is the same person. They're not all beat up and messed up. And, you know, that's like taking care of a woman for 10, 15 years and she look worse than you. You know, and you look young, she look worse. That's a reflection of you.
Exactly.
Yes,
You know,
I
so
agree.
most people don't. All that evolve around health and being holistic as well.
And
You know?
and it also, in my opinion, revolves around what you put out is what you what you put out is what you gonna get back.
Nah, sometimes you never blame a person for not knowing. Sometimes
No,
So,
but that's what I'm saying.
Like I said,
so
most people they ignorant when you see them because they feel you can't teach them nothing. So you can't blame them for not knowing what you know. It just they just been trained to a system, to a curriculum where they have to follow.
right, and
You
it's
know?
not
So
it's
we
not
don't
a
blame them. We just gotta
no,
bring
it's
them
not a
into reality.
blame game. It's not a blame game.
No, I
it's,
know.
It's what basically what I'm saying is you got to start with yourself, right?
True.
And you have to educate yourself, and you have to do the research for yourself. You know what I mean? And you got to find yourself. And a lot of times people are not ready to see themselves. They're not ready to find themselves, educate themselves, because they are not ready to deal with whatever history or trauma they may have in their past.
That's the truth. It said know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
Right.
Most of us
So
don't want to be
with-
free.
Right. So when you put out, like you do the research, you put out, you educate yourself, you put out, you share that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? When you put that out, that's what you're going to get back. You can't just be a taker.
True.
Like you have to be, and like I feel like, and y'all know I always preach about the black family. I feel like we
Yeah,
have
that's the
to,
collective consciousness.
yes, like together. You know what? We're not going to come. Nobody's going to come to the table with a clean slate.
That's the mother, father, child. That's the first doctrine for, you know, the race. Mother, father, child. It's not father, son, Holy Spirit, because there is no woman to procreate in their relationship. So when
Yeah.
you teach that doctrine to most people, they're not gonna understand the concept of manhood. It simply means taking responsibility for your action. That's
Yeah.
all it means. That means whatever action you took, just take responsibility for it. You know, if you don't want to be with a woman, hey, in 6 years I'll talk to you. You know, but we can't do this. You know, but once you indoctrinate a person,
Wait a minute.
you know, you put a person in
6
trial.
years.
6 years.
I'm just saying.
Give me a little time.
Yeah,
Give me a little time.
Yeah,
Wait,
you
first
not
of all,
ready yet.
not,
Hey.
6 years I talked
not
to you.
ready yet.
I done gave you 3, 4 kids. Now it's 6
Yeah,
years. You
it's
talking about
6
you
years.
talking to
No,
me?
I'm just saying, you know,
wait,
it's
what?
that, you know, but you have to be responsible for whatever damage you cause.
He said
Right.
6
No, that's
years.
You
true.
got what I'm saying? If
Hey,
you have a
no,
baby
I
with that
feel you.
woman, just be interact with that woman. That's all it is. All about communication.
No, I agree. I think communication is the breakdown. Like we have to be able to communicate. We have to be open and willing to talk about things, even if it's hard. You know what I mean?
Yes,
because
it's
everything
hard, but
it's
is
the truth.
the hard conversations is always the ones that need to be had, right?
Yeah,
because if it was easy,
We will
We
be doing
know
it.
it.
exactly
Easy, we would be doing it.
we be doing it with in a heartbeat like that,
But
right?
that's responsibility. You know,
Yeah.
we've been trained like children. You know, and children,
It's-
they hide everything. You know, they're like, hey,
It's
you know,
it's
did you
a
do
thing.
that? It
It's
was
a
like,
thing.
no.
It's a thing that I would say a lot is like being an American. We're arrogantly ignorant and ignorantly arrogant. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
a lot of us, until we come into some type of epiphany, some type of like we really do move Americans. Because if you go in other places, American attitudes and mannerisms and animation, like it stands out in other places.
Right.
And
Yeah,
we
it
think that
does.
we know,
Yeah.
like taking this restorative justice class, right? One of the things that they said that was so important is like we do the thing with the you have the thing to pass around so people can talk. And while that person had, I forgot what it's called.
It's a
but
360.
no, it's just like if we in a circle talking
Well, it's
and
360.
I
A
give you,
circle is
it's
a
like something that
360.
you hold. So while you holding that, nobody else can talk.
Mm-hmm.
But when you about to pass it off, you gotta wait
device.
5 seconds, 30 seconds. In some countries, when they do it a minute. And the lady who her name is Donna Jones. She was explaining that she's done this and went and did circles all over, and she was like, a minute was hard for her. It was hard for her not to respond to what the person who had the thing was saying, because she was like people from other places, they were just on ice. But all the she said when she was in one group, it was 3 Americans. Every time somebody finished talking, it was like they was on the edge of their seat, because they said Americans, yeah, we communicate to rebut. So instead of listening to what you saying and sitting back and letting myself and internalizing it and digesting it, I'm like, no, I got something to say about that. You know what I'm saying? And
that's why when you train a person to be ignorant, they always trying to justify their ignorance.
Ignorantly arrogant and arrogantly ignorant.
Yeah. So if I'm teaching you something, and I'm telling you something that benefits you, and you think it's a game, if I tell you don't drink enough water, and I'm looking at you 35 and you look 50, that tells you it's a problem. I'm only teaching you. It's called constructive criticism. I'm making you aware of what you're not aware of.
You can't be critical of people.
Right, but people are on.
None of that.
That's when you raise the children on Dr. Seuss.
We're naturally
if you raise
defensive.
people on Dr. Seuss and Goofy, of course they'll think like that.
Yeah, but we're naturally defensive. Like you can't, and that's one of the things about communication. And you have. That's why I say you have to start with yourself, right?
True.
So when you're having a conversation with somebody and y'all trying to come to some kind of common ground or whatever it is, you take ownership in what you have. And you give that person the opportunity to take ownership in what they have. Because the minute you start pointing the finger and saying you, that person's on the defensive now. Now they don't want to hear what you got to say. They just trying to defend themselves. The door done closed. They not really listening. They only listening to respond.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? They not really listening to take in what you saying to them.
That's crazy, because that's effective language and active listening.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying?
Active listening.
Because when you say you're not supposed to say you. It's
not.
really like, it's like, I noticed. I see.
I feel. Or when this happened, it made me feel, instead of pointing the finger and saying you this and you that and you this and you that. But, I wanted to just kind of interject really quick because I haven't had an opportunity to say her name. And I wanted to bring up this young lady, excuse me. And, oh my goodness, my stuff. This young lady in Huntsville, Alabama, 29 years old. Her name is Christine Nance, and she was found dead in the back of a police van on police property. And the family, of course, the family wants answers, right? And they're trying to review the video footage of this young lady, trying to find out how did she end up in the back of a police van dead, right? I absolutely have no other information.
Oh, there's a story behind that.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But the thing is, here we go. This is police property, and video footage has not been shared yet. It hasn't been talked about.
To release it.
Listen.
They have a time frame.
And we talked about this before too. The police and the media. With
how they play together. They work together.
They work together.
Today's election day. That's what the same thing is about. Anyway,
they work together.
When you get out there, look out for me and my buddies. All right. All right. Cool. Yeah, we got you.
Exactly.
The same thing going on right now.
Exactly. So, it's just mind-boggling to me that it's not national news. Like, why is we not hearing about this? Why aren't we talking about this? A black 29-year-old woman was found dead in the back of a police van on police property. And it's not.
And the only thing that this is crazy, because when I read it, the only thing that they are very clear about, right, is that the van was inactive.
Used.
Like nobody was
wasn't-
using the van. Like that's the only thing that they clear about. Like, oh, this hasn't been.
It hasn't been used since
it hasn't
March.
been used. Y'all know that. Yo, when I read the article, that I was like, how? Y'all gave me that information. Like the van hasn't been used. Y'all got the footage. If we don't know nothing about footage, but y'all able to tell me that the van hadn't been used in 3 months. That's the one thing that they wanted everybody to know.
It was last transported. It was last used to transport
got
evidence.
We don't got no video. That's the part that blew my mind when I read it. Like, y'all can make sure that y'all report that part of it.
Exactly.
But y'all don't have video. It's on police property. Like,
it's on police property.
They have to bring you some type of information first, you know.
No.
And then later we get this.
And why? And this is the thing too. This is the thing too. When you talk about the media, why is it no leaks?
Where?
Every other thing is always a leak.
Where?
Somebody always got some information. It's something always falling out of the police station. It's kind of like the other story that y'all
like
sent,
families and
where y'all engineered this picture with them holding the baby, saying this is all that the cops cared about, and then we get
And
the
that's
actual
another
story,
thing.
and y'all knew that was some fraud.
And they knew.
Like, that's crazy to me, man. Like, the only thing that y'all was clear about, because in order to know that the van wasn't used for 3 months, you got to go and look at some police records to find out that this van has been inactive.
Y'all did some research.
Y'all did research, even if it was just to go look at a log. The video was on a log too. They write down what they keep a log with the video too. So, and it's even easier to look at. So y'all wrote down this information about the van not being active, and then y'all went and looked up to see, well, damn, she was found in this van. We got to make sure that because this was about, we got to make sure that nobody can be traced back to the van. So we have to get the information to know when the van was last active. Because we don't know, because how did she get in the van?
How did she
Who
get in
has
the van?
keys or has the code or whatever you use to get into a police van?
How did she get in
How
the
do
van?
you get into a police van if you are not law enforcement?
Of a policeman.
And if and that means only a certain amount of people have these keys. So if we saying that we found out that it was 3 months since somebody used it, it's people that gotta sign off on this. Forget the video. Don't even look at the video. Now, when we say that the van was active 3 months ago, we know everybody that had access to the van. So that should be out there. Forget the video. Because you gotta sign off on it.
You have to. And the
That's going
police,
crazy to me.
the police, this is convenient, reportedly took the family to the police station to review the videotapes. And the investigator that was in charge was off.
Oh wow.
You
So wait, y'all the police
Nobody
at the
can
police
contact them?
station. No, y'all the police.
They're
It's
all
not an
friends.
emergency
At the police
situation.
They're all
station.
friends, so they know. what's
And
going
y'all
on.
take the
Yeah.
family to bring to the police station to review tapes and the investigator in charge. Y'all didn't know that before y'all left the police station to go get the family?
Yeah, they're friends.
Listen, you found a dead person
A dead
in a
black
police
woman.
Yes, in a police vehicle on police property. How are you off? Why would you want to be off? Why is it not all hands on deck? Why is every cop in the precinct not trying to
That
figure
shit
this
got
out?
documented
Imagine
right away
if
with
that
an
was a
ambulance.
white woman.
Why?
Can you imagine if that
Yeah,
was a
that's-
29-year-old
Why?
white woman found in the back of a police van?
Isn't that a reason
Oh,
to come
yeah,
into
yeah.
work and not get paid that day if you're here to
What?
protect and serve? Isn't
The
that a
media
reason
would've
for
been
that?
Going crazy right
I'm
now.
just
The immunity to consequences. It's like you walk around understanding that there are layers of protection already set in place for you to not have to deal with even the possibility that you could be
Yeah,
at fault.
yeah.
It's funny because the whole precinct and the Fraternal Order of Police and their racist organization, and it's funny because it goes back to that other story too, because they all move in the same way. The boy Nesby, I used to read about this cat all the time. He used to say some of the most racist stuff in the daily news. It used to blow my mind, and it's like, yo,
I mean, real racists take
Bruh,
flesh and blood.
it used to be crazy to me. But again, I say in Alabama, any police station, how is it not all hands on deck?
How?
How are people not working for free?
But you got to know
because if that
Alabama
was a
history
cop
now. Remember
found in an
Alabama
alley
history.
in an abandoned car, it would be all hands on deck. You wouldn't be able to move on that block.
You sure wouldn't.
Information would be out there
Sure
already.
wouldn't. You sure
If it
wouldn't.
was a cop found in my neighborhood in an abandoned car in an alleyway or in a vacant lot or whatever,
That because you're in the city, they see everything.
They
But
would have had
we're
the,
on police.
they would have had they would have been out there
I mean,
on
you
foot
gotta
patrol.
know Alabama history too. Now.
Yeah, ain't no
I
doubt.
mean, well,
Ain't no
doubt
listen,
about
that.
that.
That goes
But
that
you
that's a part of it.
But then it's the thing too. This is the thing too. I'm one of them people. Alabama is no different than
Sweet
than
home
New
Alabama.
Jersey.
Yeah.
And New Jersey is no different than Boston when we talk, and Boston is no different than Oklahoma, and I can go on and on and on when we
Right.
talking about race relations when it
They
comes
all
to
have
black
the same
folk.
patterns.
So the South, North, that never was a thing, y'all. That never. White folks weren't more racist in the South than they were in the. That's never been a thing.
That's
That's a BS bullshit story. Read your history. Racist white folks have never been different in any part of America. They've all been on the same time. So the South versus the North, no, it's like Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
That's what we working with here. It's
How to
it's
move
no
the ticker.
different. It's
How to
no
move the
different.
ticker.
Exactly. So Alabama, I feel what people saying like, oh, it's a different. No, it's a different type of racism, but it affects us the same.
Yeah.
And white folks just do it in a different way.
Yeah.
It is exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Republicans, they let you know they're racist. Democrats,
I mean,
are trying to
that's-
do you like they're your parent. I'm just trying to tell you because you don't know no better. I got you because you don't know no better.
That's the
Listen.
cousin, like
Right.
Well, listen.
we don't like you, but he'll help you for us.
Yeah,
all right?
no,
That's
no,
all it is.
No, we're gonna PSA Philly service announcement. The love, support, and grace. We are going to say her name, Christine Nance. She was 29 years old. 29.
Rest in peace.
Black woman found in the back of a police van. Just appeared in the back
and
of a
we don't
appeared.
have
Oh,
information.
found by an officer. By the way, she was found by an officer.
I guess
Yeah.
that's
He
the
gonna be the
rookie.
hero
The
of the
rookie.
story.
He's probably a rookie.
He's gonna be the hero of the story. He found her. He like what? Like, listen. I missed a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I
you
do
jump
want
right in.
to. I
You
do want
always do.
to. I do want to reiterate Worcester and Maderi. The second week in a row. PSA been out there since day one. Philly
Yes.
service now. This is what we do out here. Like, that's what we doing out here. But the second week in a row, I had people already out there at 8:00 with their bags because they understand that we gonna be consistent. So anything that we trying to tackle in this city, anything you dealing with young kids, you dealing with homelessness, you dealing with abuse, whatever you
Yeah.
deal, be consistent. Be consistent about what you're doing because the people are gonna allow you to know that they need your help. They were out there with their bags, and they knew, like, we having conversation, and the truck was late, and they stood out there. They still was out there. We were just out there chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? But Worcester and Maderi, every Saturday, we start at 8. We need more volunteers. I got some volunteers today. Like, I mean, the other day, it was love, and it's not just kids. The kids come out there. We don't take any donations. We don't take donations out there. Y'all gonna give us some money at another time, but we don't take donations out there for that.
We want to give the
Yo,
food.
we want to give the food, but we do take tips for the kids that's out there. You know what I mean? The adults who volunteer, they don't take anything. And I appreciate the adults that came out and volunteered. Karen, I'm unfortunate. I don't remember her daughter's name. I apologize. I will definitely shout you out next time. But, yo, if you want to volunteer, just come out to Worcester and Maderi and just jump right in, man. Every Saturday, we out here at 8 PSA, Philly service announcement.
We out, y'all.
One love. One love every time.